The door slammed shut behind me with a finality that echoed through my bones, the cold rain lashing my face like 1,000 tiny accusations. I stood there on the cracked sidewalk, my duffel bag slung over one shoulder, soaked through in seconds, watching the warm glow of the living room window where my mother and sister sat laughing over mugs of tea. After she'd just thrown me out like yesterday's trash. My fists clenched so hard my nails bit into my palms, drawing blood that mixed with the downpour. "Get out, Emily," Mom had said, her voice steady as steel. "We need space for Sarah. She's going through a tough time." Sarah, my perfect older sister, back from her glamorous city life for family support. Support that apparently meant evicting me, the one who'd been holding everything together. The rage boiled up, hot and choking, but beneath it, the heartbreak twisted like a knife. How could she choose her over me? Again. I trudged down the street, the neon sign of the corner diner flickering in the distance like a mocking beacon. My mind raced, replaying the scene in vivid, agonizing detail. It had started innocently enough that morning. Sarah arrived unannounced, her designer suitcase thumping against the worn hardwood floor of our childhood home. She looked flawless as always, long auburn hair cascading in waves, makeup impeccable despite the tough time she claimed. "Mom, I need to come home," she'd said, her voice trembling just enough to sell the vulnerability. "The divorce is killing me. I can't do it alone." Mom had enveloped her in a hug, tears in her eyes, while I stood in the kitchen doorway, coffee mug forgotten in my hand. I'd felt a pang of sympathy then, but it soured quickly when Sarah's eyes met mine over Mom's shoulder, smug, calculating like she'd already won. By evening the axe had fallen. We were in the cramped living room, the air thick with the scent of Mom's pot roast simmering on the stove. Sarah lounged on the couch, scrolling through her phone, while I folded laundry at the coffee table. Mom cleared her throat, her face pinched. "Emily, honey, we need to talk." Her words hung heavy, and I knew before she spoke what was coming. "Sarah's staying for a while. She needs her old room back. And, well, the house is small. Maybe it's time you found your own place." I froze, the shirt in my hands crumpling. "What? Mom, I've been living here to help you. Paying bills, cooking, everything since Dad left." My voice cracked, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. Sarah interjected smoothly. It's not forever. Just until I get back on my feet. You understand, right? Family supports each other." Her smile was all teeth, no warmth. I wanted to scream, to shatter the illusion. Sarah wasn't here for support. She was here to leech, to reclaim her spot as the golden child while I, the reliable one, got discarded. The humiliation burned as I packed my things under their watchful eyes. Mom hovered, wringing her hands, murmuring apologies that felt hollow. "It's for the best, Em. You're strong. You'll land on your feet." Strong. That's what they always said about me. The fixer, the one who didn't need coddling. Sarah, meanwhile, unpacked her clothes into my dresser drawers, humming softly. "Thanks for understanding, sis," she said, folding a silk blouse with deliberate care. I bit back the retort bubbling in my throat. "Understanding? You'd understand if I told Mom about the affair you had with her best friend's husband, or how you borrowed money from my college fund years ago and never paid it back. But I didn't. Not then. Instead, I grabbed my bag and left, the doors slam my only goodbye. Now, huddled under the diner's awning, rain dripping from my hair, I dialed my friend Jess. "Can I crash at your place?" My voice was raw, barely audible over the storm. She didn't hesitate. "Of course. What happened?" As I explained, the anger morphed into something sharper, resentment festering like an open wound. Why, Sarah. She'd always been the favorite, the one who got away with everything. Beautiful, charming Sarah, who married rich and partied hard, only to come crawling back when it all fell apart. And me. The plain, dutiful daughter, working 2 jobs to keep the lights on after Dad's death. Heartbreak clawed at me. Mom's betrayal stung deepest. She'd chosen sides, and it wasn't mine. Jess's apartment was a cramped 1-bedroom above a laundromat, the hum of dryers vibrating through the floor like a constant reminder of instability. I dropped my bag in the corner, the fabric squelching wetly. Jess handed me a towel and a glass of wine. Your mom kicked you out for Sarah. That's messed up. I nodded, collapsing onto the futon. Sarah's going through a tough time. Divorce, apparently. But I know her. She's probably burned through her settlement and needs mom's savings. The words tumbled out, laced with bitterness. Jess listened, her brow furrowed. What are you gonna do? I stared at the wine swirling in my glass, the deep red like blood. Do. Part of me wanted to march back, demand justice. But another part, darker, whispered ideas. Fantasies flickered, exposing Sarah's lies, watching her facade crumble. No, I thought, shaking my head. That's not me. I'm the good one. Sleep evaded me that night, the futon's lumps digging into my back like accusations. My mind churned with memories, childhood slights, like when Sarah accidentally broke my favorite doll and mom blamed me for leaving it out. Or high school, when she spread rumors that got me ostracized. All because I wouldn't cover for her sneaking out. Denial crept in. Maybe mom was right. Maybe I needed to grow up, move on. But resentment shoved it aside. By dawn, obsession took root. I scrolled through Sarah's social media on my phone. The screens glow harsh in the dim room. Perfect selfies, cryptic posts about starting over. I knew the truth. She'd cheated on her husband, gambled away their savings. How? Because she'd confided in me last year, drunk and tearful, swearing me to secrecy. You're the only one I can trust, Em. Trust. The word tasted like ash. Over the next days, I settled into a routine at Jess's, but the wound festered. Work at the bookstore blurred into monotony. Shelves of romance novels mocking my shattered family ties. Customers chattered about holidays, and I'd force a smile, insides twisting. At night I'd lie awake planning. Subtle at first. What if I anonymously tipped off Sarah's ex about her whereabouts? Or hacked her email? Wait, no, that's illegal. Doubt nipped at me. Was I really this vengeful? Guilt surged. Mom was getting older, frail after Dad's passing. Sarah's return might ease her burden. But then I'd remember the eviction, the casual dismissal, and cold resolve hardened. A week in, Mom called. I let it ring twice before answering, heart pounding. Emily. Honey, how are you? Her voice was tentative, laced with guilt. Fine, I said flatly, pacing Jess's tiny kitchen, the linoleum sticky underfoot. Settled in. She sighed. Sarah's. Adjusting. We miss you. Miss me. Laughter bubbled up, bitter. Do you? Because it felt like you couldn't wait to get rid of me. Silence stretched, then she murmured. It was hard for me too. But Sarah needs us. As if I wasn't part of that. What about what I need, Mom? My voice rose, cracking. She hesitated. Come over for dinner soon. We can talk. I agreed, hanging up with a mix of hope and suspicion. Maybe this was my chance. To observe, to gather ammunition. The dinner was tense, the house smelling of garlic and tension. Sarah greeted me at the door, hugged too tight, perfume cloying. So good to see you. Her eyes scanned me, assessing. Mom bustled in the kitchen, plates clattering. We sat at the scarred oak table, the one Dad had built, and small talk flowed like molasses. How's the bookstore? Mom asked, serving lasagna. Same, I replied, fork scraping porcelain. Sarah dominated, regaling us with tales of her fresh start. Yoga classes, job hunts. Lies. I knew from her posts she was partying downtown. As dessert came, apple pie my favorite, Mom cleared her throat. Emily, about the house. Sarah might stay longer. She's thinking of enrolling in community college. My stomach dropped. Longer. And where do I fit in? Sarah interjected. We could share the room like old times. Her smile was saccharine, but her eyes gleamed with triumph. Humiliation washed over me anew. Share. After she'd taken everything. Driving back to Jess's, rain slicking the roads, fury ignited. They were erasing me. Obsession deepened. I started noting details. Sarah's routines from mom's casual texts, her new friends from social media stalks. Inner conflict raged. This isn't you, Emily. Revenge. You're better than that. But fantasies persisted, slipping something into her drink, watching her squirm. No, too crude. Something smarter, more poetic. Doubt flickered. What if I got caught? Fear tightened my chest. But resolve won. They panicked when I left. Let them feel the void I filled. 2 weeks post-eviction, the plan crystallized over coffee with Jess. You need to hit back, she said, steam curling from her mug. Expose her. I nodded, heart racing. But how? Early. Start with whispers. I created an anonymous email, sent Sarah's ex a tip. She's back home, draining your alimony on luxuries. Petty. Satisfying. Immensely. Guilt nagged, betraying family secrets, but resentment drowned it. Moral conflict churned. Was I becoming like her? Manipulative. No, this was justice. The first crack appeared days later. Mom texted. Sarah's upset. Her ex called, accusing her of fraud. She's crying. Good, I thought, a thrill shivering through me. Panic setting in. Just the beginning. Part 2. The Reckoning. The thrill of that first anonymous tip lingered like a drug, buzzing in my veins as I deleted the email trail on Jess's laptop. But guilt shadowed it, a whisper in the quiet moments. What if this blows back on Mom? She didn't deserve the fallout. Yet, as I stared at the ceiling that night, the hum of the laundromat below syncing with my pulse, resentment surged anew. They'd kicked me out without a second thought. Sarah with her endless excuses, and Mom enabling her. No more. The plan evolved. Slow, calculated, a web of revelations that would unravel their cozy illusion. I began with reconnaissance, blending into the background like a ghost. One evening I parked down the street from the house, the engine off, rain pattering on the windshield. Through the fogged glass, I watched Sarah slip out, dressed in a slinky black dress, hailing a cab. Date night, I muttered, following at a distance. She ended up at a downtown bar, laughter spilling out as she met a man. Tall, slick, probably another Mark. I snapped photos from afar, the camera's click satisfying. Evidence. Back at Jess's, I pored over them, obsession fueling late nights. Inner thoughts warred. This is stalking, Emily. But fantasies of exposure drowned the doubt. Picturing Sarah's face as her lies crumbled, Mom's realization of who she'd chosen. Dialogue with Mom grew strained in our weekly calls. Sarah's out a lot, she confided one afternoon, her voice weary over the phone. I was at work, shelving books, the musty scent of paper grounding me. Is she okay? I asked, feigning concern. I think so. But money's tight. She's borrowing from my savings. Borrowing. Code for taking. Anger flared. Mom, be careful. You know how she is. What do you mean? I hesitated, planting the seed. Just remember the college fund. She sighed. That was years ago. She's changed. Changed. Hardly. But I let it drop, tension building like a storm. The next strike was bolder. Using a burner app, I messaged Sarah's friends, ones I'd gleaned from her posts, anonymous tips about her real divorce story. She cheated, gambled it all away. Petty whispers, but they spread. Sarah's social media quieted. Posts deleted. Panic texts from Mom. Sarah's withdrawn, fighting with old friends. What's happening? I replied innocently. Maybe karma? Guilt twisted. Mom sounded frail, but resolve hardened. They needed to feel my absence, the hole I'd filled. A month in, the house felt foreign when I visited for reconciliation dinner. The air was thick with unspoken accusations, the roast beef dry and overcooked. Mom's hands shook as she served. Sarah eyed me warily across the table, her makeup heavier, hiding shadows under her eyes. Heard from your ex lately? I asked casually, fork piercing a potato. She stiffened. Why? Mom interjected. Girls, please. But tension crackled. Just curious, I said, smiling. Rumors flying. Sarah's laugh was forced. Rumors. From who? Her gaze sharpened, suspicion dawning. Heart pounding, I shrugged. Small town. Inside, fear flickered. Did she suspect? Moral conflict raged. This was revenge, but at what cost? Obsession pushed on. That night, alone in the car, I escalated. I hacked her old email. Password guessed from childhood pets, and found gold. Emails to lovers, financial pleas to shady lenders. Shocking but useful. I forwarded select ones anonymously to Mom's inbox. Heart hammering. Too far. Doubt screamed yes, but betrayal's sting silenced it. The fallout hit like a bomb. Mom called the next day, voice breaking. Emily, did you see these emails? Sarah's been lying. Faint shock. What emails? A sob. About the divorce money. I confronted her. She's furious, packing to leave. Panic in her tone. Alone now, regretting. Satisfaction bloomed, cold and sweet. But as I hung up, guilt crashed. Mom, isolated, heartbroken. Sarah confronted me that evening, banging on Jess's door. Rain-slicked, eyes wild. It was you, wasn't it? She hissed, stepping inside uninvited. The apartment smelled of takeout, tension thick. Me, I said, voice steady despite the fear. The tips, the emails. You're destroying me. Her face twisted, anger but beneath desperation. You took my home, I shot back, resentment unleashing. Mom chose you. Again. She laughed bitterly. Chose me. She's always pitied you, the loser who stayed. I came back because she begged, said you were suffocating her. Lies. Or truth. Heartbreak stabbed. Get out, I whispered, but she lunged, grabbing my arm. You'll regret this. She left, slamming the door, but her words lingered, seeding doubt. Was revenge justified if it shattered everyone? Inner turmoil peaked that night. Pacing, tears streaming. Obsession waned. Guilt dominated. But it was too late. The twist came days later. Mom showed up at Jess's, frail in the doorway, rain dripping. Emily, I need you. Her eyes red-rimmed. Sarah's gone, left in the night, took my savings. Shock hit. Sarah's final betrayal. She what? Mom collapsed into my arms. I was wrong. Please come home. Poetic justice. They'd panicked without me, but Sarah's theft was the real knife. My revenge. Catalyst, but her greed the destroyer. We rebuilt slowly, Mom's guilt mirroring mine. I moved back, the house echoing with absence. Revenge's taste. Bittersweet. Moral grayness lingered. I'd pushed, but fate twisted the blade. In quiet moments I wondered, was I the villain? Or just the survivor? The panic they'd felt mirrored my own, a cycle broken but scarred.